There are moments in life when everything falls apart. Moments when the lights go out and the silence becomes deafening, when dreams seem distant and hope feels like a luxury you can't afford. But my friends, it is in those moments, in those dark, uncertain hours, that greatness begins to form. Because the truth is, the brightest souls are not born in comfort. They are forged in chaos. They are shaped in pain. They are built in the fire of struggle. There comes a moment in every life when everything feels like it's slipping away. The plans you made crumble, the people you trusted disappear, and the strength you thought you had begins to fade. You look around and realize that nothing feels the same, and for the first time, you begin to question who you are without the things you once leaned on. That's the breaking point. The place where dreams collide with reality and life demands something greater from you than you ever thought you had to give. It's in this space of chaos and confusion that transformation quietly begins. Because when everything is stripped away, your comfort, your control, your certainty, what's left is the raw essence of your soul. You start to see yourself not as the world defined you, but as you truly are. The darkness becomes a mirror showing you both your weaknesses and your untapped strength. You realize that pain has a way of waking you up, shaking you out of the illusion that life is meant to be easy, and reminding you that growth never comes without discomfort. In the breaking point, there's a choice. You can let the weight of your struggle crush you, or you can let it carve you into something new. Many never realize that the lowest moments of their lives are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to rebuild, to redefine, to rise from the ashes with a deeper sense of purpose and clarity. Because when everything you thought you needed is gone, you finally understand what truly matters. The breaking point is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the person you were always meant to become. And though it hurts now, one day you'll look back and realize that this moment, this fall, was the spark that ignited your rise. Strength is not born in the moments when life is easy. It's born in the fire. In the moments that test your limits, challenge your beliefs, and demand everything you have left to give. The fire represents struggle, pain, and the unknown. It burns away the false layers we build to protect ourselves, our pride, our excuses, our fears, until only the truth remains. And that truth is powerful because it reveals who we really are when there's nowhere to hide. When you are forged in fire, you begin to understand that struggle is not your enemy, it's your sculptor. Every challenge shapes you, every setback strengthens you, and every heartbreak refines you. The very moments you thought would destroy you are the ones that teach you endurance, patience, and faith. The fire doesn't just test your courage, it builds it. It strips you of what is temporary and leaves you with what is eternal: character, resilience, and purpose. People often run from pain, but pain is where the transformation happens. The heat of adversity molds your spirit, turning doubt into determination, fear into focus, and weakness into wisdom. You begin to move differently, think differently, lie differently. Not because the world around you changed, but because you did. That's what it means to be forged in fire. You no longer seek an easy path, you seek a meaningful one. You stop asking, why me, and start saying, try me. The process is never comfortable, but comfort never built a warrior. The greatest souls in history were not born strong. They were refined by their trials. They faced the fire and came out shining brighter than before. Because when life burns away everything you thought you were, it reveals everything you were meant to become. Endurance is the quiet power that carries you through the storms when everything in you wants to give up. It's not loud, it's not glamorous, and it's rarely celebrated, but it's the foundation of every great victory. Endurance is what keeps you moving when progress feels invisible. When every step forward feels heavier than the last, it's the strength to keep showing up even when your mind is tired, your heart is broken, and the world seems indifferent to your effort. In life, there will be seasons that test your patience, where days turn into weeks of uncertainty and nights feel endless. You'll question whether your effort is worth it, whether the pain has a purpose, whether you have what it takes to keep going. And in those moments, endurance whispers what motivation cannot, that true strength is not found in speed, but in persistence. It reminds you that even the smallest step forward taken in faith is still a step closer to the light. Endurance is built in silence. It grows when no one is watching, when you fight your battles alone, when you push yourself to rise again after every fall. Each trial you survive adds another layer of resilience to your soul. The pain that once weakened you becomes the proof that you are capable of withstanding more than you ever imagined. And the more you endure, the more unshakable you become. Because endurance doesn't just carry you through hardship, it transforms you in the process. The power of endurance lies in its simplicity: never stop. Keep moving even when it hurts. Keep believing even when you can't see the outcome. Because the moment you refuse to quit, life begins to bend in your favor. Endurance turns pain into purpose and struggle into strength, proving that persistence will always outlast despair. Every scar you carry tells a story of battles fought, lessons learned, and strength discovered. Scars are not signs of weakness, they are symbols of survival. They remind you that you've been through pain, but more importantly, that you made it through. Each mark, whether seen or unseen, is a chapter of your journey that shaped the person you've become. And while the world often celebrates perfection, it's your imperfections, your scars, that hold the deepest beauty and truth. When life wounds you, it leaves traces not to shame you, but to teach you. Every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment becomes a teacher if you let it. Pain has a way of carving wisdom into the soul. You begin to understand that what hurt you also helped you. That every scar carries a message of endurance. You stop hiding from your past and start embracing it, realizing that your strength was born from your most fragile moments. Scars also connect us. When you show your pain, you give others permission to heal. Your story becomes a bridge for someone else's hope. The courage to share where you've been allows others to believe they can rise too. That's the power of scars. They transform suffering into empathy and brokenness into light. They remind the world that healing doesn't mean erasing the past, it means learning to live with it stronger than before. There will always be people who see your scars as flaws, but those are the ones who've never faced the fire. Those who've walked through pain know that scars are proof of growth. They represent every time you fell and chose to rise again. So never hide them. Wear them as armor. Because the very things that once caused you pain have now become the evidence of your strength and the living proof that you refuse to surrender. Darkness is not always the enemy we imagine it to be. It is the space where growth begins, where truth is revealed, and where the soul learns to see beyond the surface. In darkness, the distractions fade, the noise of the world quiets, and you are left alone with yourself. That silence can be terrifying, but it is also sacred, because it is in those moments when you have nothing else to cling to that you begin to discover your inner light. Many people run from the darkness, believing it is something to escape, but every great transformation begins in the unknown. Seeds grow in the soil before they break through the surface. Stars shine brightest in the night sky. And just like that, your strength is born in the moments when you feel lost. The darkness forces you to rely not on what you see, but on what you believe. It teaches you to trust your journey, even when you cannot trace its path. When you learn to embrace the darkness, you stop seeing it as punishment and start recognizing it as preparation. The pain, the uncertainty, the loneliness, they are not there to destroy you, but to shape you. The storm teaches you patience. The struggle builds your endurance. The silence deepens your understanding. Each shadow has a lesson, and every hardship carries a hidden gift if you are willing to face it instead of fear it. So instead of asking why you're in the dark, ask what it's trying to teach you. Let the discomfort refine you. Let the confusion humble you. Because one day when the light returns, you'll realize that the darkness was never there to break you. It was there to build you. It showed you your strength, your faith, and the fire that burns within you even when everything around you fades. There comes a moment after every storm when the skies begin to clear and you realize you're not the same person who walked into the darkness. You've been changed, not by the pain itself, but by your decision to rise despite it. Every tear, every setback, every sleepless night becomes fuel for a new kind of strength. You begin to understand that what once felt like an ending was really a beginning, a rebirth of your spirit. Rising from the ashes means reclaiming your power, your voice, and your purpose. It means standing tall, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. When you rise, you carry with you the lessons the fire taught you. Humility, patience, and courage. You no longer move through life with fear, but with faith. The weight that once held you down becomes a foundation beneath your feet. You walk differently, you speak with more conviction, and you love with more depth. Because when you've known darkness, you understand the value of light. When you've been broken, you recognize the beauty of being whole. Rising isn't just about surviving, it's about transforming. To radiate means to shine so brightly that your strength becomes hope for others. Your story becomes a reminder that pain has purpose, that endurance leads to awakening, and that no struggle is wasted. The same darkness that once buried you becomes the contrast that makes your light impossible to ignore. You no longer hide your scars, you let them shine as proof that healing is possible. So when you rise, rise fully. Rise with gratitude for what you've endured and pride for who you've become. Because you are no longer defined by what broke you. You are defined by what you built from the pieces. You are living proof that even after the darkest nights, the brightest souls will always find their light again.